and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be addressing some common misconceptions about Spain that people from other countries, including myself, may have had prior to moving here. And because I'm not a fan of talking head videos from a couch, I'm going to be making my favorite Friday night snack, which is a Gilda, which I personally think mine are the absolute bee's knees. And I'm also going to show you how I make a margarita. So not only will I be telling you about some interesting facts, but you'll get to see some cocktails and snack making as well. And then in the background, you'll get to see Dave preparing food as well. Dave, say hi. If you're new here, my name is Mel Moss. If you're returning, thank you so much. Your support means the world. And to everybody watching, welcome to We Dreamed of Spain. First things first, let's make a drink. We're going to see some friends tonight and it doesn't start until 9 p.m. It's currently 6 p.m. and I'm preparing snacks. I've got, this is actually my favorite tequila at the moment and it's from Mallorca. I'm just going to get the last few drops of the bottle. I put half of this jig in there, but I made a mistake, so I had to start again. Okay, which means we need to do a quarter of like an orange liqueur. Okay, and I'm going to do a lot of ice and lime. I'm going to bulk it out. So yes, it doesn't start till 9, which is, we knew moving to Spain about the late night dinners and drinks. Definitely true. We should do a true false. So the first thing I want to address, I'm going to talk about 5 common misconceptions about Spain, some of which I held before we moved here. The first one being that Spain is cheap. And this gets addressed fairly regularly because obviously there's a big influx of digital nomads moving here because they think that living in Spain is cheap. And can I tell you, that is absolutely not true. Spain is not cheap. It maybe was, but from my understanding, from the time they brought in the euro to now, it's just gotten more and more expensive. You've got more expats moving here, spending more money, and so driving prices up, which is it's a global thing. But it's newer in Spain and it's newer to the Spaniards, so it's a tough pill to swallow. But Spain is not cheap. We definitely thought Spain would be cheaper than it is to move here. We did do our numbers. Oh no, I threw out my lime and now I need to rim my glass. Happens every time. But what we found is that yes, Spain is cheaper than Australia in some things, more expensive in others. And so at the end of the day, and Dave, you could probably speak to this, it kind of all washes out. Our expenses are higher here because we're doing more travel, so we can see things. We're paying private school fees, which I can address in another video if anybody is interested. We pay a higher tax bill here, but then, you know, food, entertainment is definitely more reasonably priced. Rent is slightly cheaper for us, but we live in the center of a major city, so it is going to be more expensive. If we were renting in the center of Sydney, it would be more expensive than our rent here, definitely. But I would say overall, it's around about the same as life in Australia for us, for the money that we spend and the lifestyle that we lead. Obviously, that's different for everybody, but we eat well, we drink well, we travel. That was and we didn't expect that. And again, I will address that because I think it's a really important video. We moved here very quickly thinking our children would attend public schools. They've always gone to public schools. But here for us, that was not the right decision. So they're in private schools. So that's, that's money that we didn't expect to be spending. Anyway, moving on. Cheers, margarita done. Super limey. Do you want some, baby? Yummy. Okay, the next misconception that I'm very happy to address is that Spaniards are, particularly when it comes to work, super laid back. And this is something that I hadn't really thought about before, but everyone does have that idea that, the whole siesta thing and the laid back and the long lunches and la 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 la. From living here, I can honestly say it is a huge misconception. Spaniards are like the hardest working people I've ever seen, whether that's in an office situation or in a building situation. However, they work differently. And our first, I guess, experience of this was when we were living up north when we first moved here, and there was a construction zone right outside our apartment. Again, another story. We were not expecting that. And these guys worked from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. without a break. It was just constant, steady, organized work. And they would have their break, and then they would go back to work again until 2. And then the whole place would clear out, and they would go for a 2-3 hour lunch break, errand running. Maybe they went to the gym. Like within these long lunch breaks, people do their chores, they have long lunches, they do whatever they do. Maybe they have siesta. And then they come back at 5 p.m. and then they work again constantly until 7 p.m. later in some cases. And not only are the hours longer for Spaniards, but the way they work, they don't rush. There's no stress, but there's also no kind of dilly-dallying. There's no sitting around the water cooler, taking long toilet breaks, sitting on your phone like we do. They just work. They just consistently get the job done. They focus on the task at hand. They do one thing at a time, and they do it perfectly. Like if you've had to deal with any Spanish bureaucratic office, you will see the reason they don't make mistakes and they don't, things don't go wrong is because they don't rush. They get it right. And so I find that they're actually the most diligent workers I've ever seen. Right. Quickly on to our Gildas. I have some chupitas. These are my favorite olives, similar to a Sicilian olive, but I think these are a bit sweeter. But they're very meaty, very, very flavorful, and they are an Andalusian olive. We have cornichons. We have pickled onions. I have pickled garlic, and I have, they're called picantes. They're like baby chilies, very, very mild. Normally I would put some capsicum with these for a bit of red, but I don't have any, sadly, so that's sad. Oh, anchovies. I don't have any anchovies. Surely I have anchovies. Oh no. Yes, I do. Oh my God. Are we a Spanish household or not? Boquerones. These are from the Mercadona, and they're herbed, and they are my favorite. Okay, now we can start. We have the boquerones. So yes, a complete misconception, which brings me to my third point. Spaniards all take siesta. And it kind of fits into the last point in that, no, they absolutely do not. Some do, and that's maybe their choice. Or if, like, say for an example, you're an abuela at home and you're preparing lunch for your grandchildren and you've all had lunch, they might have a little sneaky nap. But as a rule, you'll find most Spaniards would be more inclined to have a decent lunch break and perhaps run some errands or go to the gym than siesta. It's definitely part of vacaciones. So when you're on holidays in summer, the days are so long here. Like it is hot and it is light until 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. So yes, everyone is siestaing in holidays, but day to day, not a thing. Like I am more likely to take a nap than a Spaniard is. So again, it's something that a lot of these influencers who move here, they make these videos about the siesta and the la 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 la. It's bollocks. They're not doing it. What are we up to? 4. We are powering through these. Okay. Spaniards speak English. This was a big one for us. Moving here. I just spat picante on myself. Moving here, the research that we did was that all Spaniards speak English in Spain, and you'll have no problems kind of communicating and getting things done, making friends, all of those things. It's not true. Or perhaps it is true, but Spaniards don't want to speak English. They want to speak their own language. They are incredibly proud, rightly so. They speak the most beautiful language in the entire world. It sounds like music to me. And they want to speak their own language. So some of them will speak English very readily with you, particularly if, you know, they've learned it and it's part of their job and it's something that they enjoy doing. But as a general rule, particularly here in Andalusia, they speak Spanish, and you are expected to speak Spanish. They quite often they'll say to you, no, I don't speak English. And you respect that. You have to respect that. So whether it is that they don't speak English or whether they don't want to, either way, Spaniards don't speak English in Spain. They speak Spanish. And when we go to Madrid, it's very interesting because English is so widely spoken, and I can understand why there's a huge expat community there. And it's also, it's very clear Spanish. I can understand it. I can communicate. And then I come home to Malaga and I'm like, oh, it's different again. But yes, here in, oh, I only put one anchovy on that one. Oh, well. That's a Gilda. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Yes, so Spaniards don't speak English. The last misconception, and this leads back to one of my previous videos where I was in a cafe scoffing pan con tomate and waffling that it was every Spaniard's favorite breakfast. And I had one comment saying, absolutely not, it's not our thing, like not many people have it, which is fair, because actually in my local cafe, when I walk the dog in the morning, I'm looking at what everyone's eating, and it's like either a montadito, which is a small sandwich, very simple, just with like some turkey or some pork or some cheese, or they're having churros. Rarely do I see pan con tomate. But then, funnily enough, there was an answering comment saying, what do you mean? We all eat pan con tomate. Everyone eats pan con tomate. So that's a really interesting one. Is it a misconception that we all have that when we come to Spain, everyone is sitting down every morning eating pan con tomate? Or is it just some people? I would love to know in the comments your thoughts, because for me, pan con tomate is one of my favorite things. The only reason I don't eat it every day is because I find I am hungry fairly quickly after. I need a bit more than some bread and tomato. I need like a good dose of protein. But I love it. It's literally one of my favorite things. And I thought, just before I finish up, I would address 3 truths, absolute truths that I thought before I moved to Spain and that have proved completely true. The first one, number 1, being Spain's love of children. We were told about it. We were excited about it. It is 100% true. The change in our family from moving to Spain, the change in mine and Dave's stress levels with our kids, gone is the quick, get in the car, get out of people's way, stop, be quiet, stop talking, la la la. Nope. They are so appreciated and loved here and so indulged. You'll see Spanish children walking along the street just like looking at their phones, just looking at the sky, just chatting. They've not got a care in the world. The knowledge of their own security in this country is the most beautiful thing to behold. Children here are children. They can just focus on being kids, and it is amazing. The only time it's annoying is when Dave's driving through the schoolyard and all the Spaniards are just walking in front of his car, because they're just so precious. But it is so true. Like our children are so loved, and all children are just so cherished. Like you'll see a baby in a pram at a cafe, and literally every single person is stopping and looking at the baby and talking about the baby and cuddling the baby. And it's the best. It's so gorgeous. Another truth is Spaniards are welcoming to foreigners. Absolutely. Especially if you make an effort. Like if you're here on holidays and you've made an effort to learn a few phrases, or when you order, you're using your manners and you are doing it in the correct way and you're using some Spanish words, you are treated like an honored, most esteemed guest. Spaniards love showing off their country. They love to know how much you love their country and how beautiful you think their country is. You just need to look at my comments to see how much the Spaniards love their country, and they love showing it to the world, but they expect in return, respect and taking care of it. And so, yes, so welcoming to foreigners. And the last absolute truth that when we moved here, we kind of expected and has turned out to be true is that if you can only speak a few Spanish words, they will love you for it. And yes, that is true. Like I do make a real effort to speak in Spanish, and even the few words that I can speak, I work very, very hard on my accent. And I get complimented on it constantly, even though it's so hard for me and I'm not fluent and I don't speak enough. I'm so complimented and so encouraged and so loved for trying that it only makes me want to try harder and give it a crack. So instead of a country like France, for example, where you hear, and I don't know, maybe this is a misconception, but you hear that if you go there and speak in French, they'll just immediately speak to you in English, or they'll even tell you how bad your French is. Here, it's like it could not be more opposite. You will be told your Spanish is extraordinary and you're so encouraged. It's just, honestly, they're the best people I know. They're just, I love my country and I love my people. It is everything that I imagined it to be. And so those three truths are absolute as far as I'm concerned. I can give you an interesting example. We were at our health club the other day. We're in the sauna. And when you walk in anywhere, so if you walk into a sauna, into a pharmacy, into a shop, you greet everybody. You say good day, good evening, good afternoon, hello, how are you? Everybody without fail. And so we're in that practice and we do that. And every time you walk into the sauna, you say hello to everyone. And there was a young guy in there. He said, good morning back, everything in Spanish. And then Davey and I were talking quietly while we were in the sauna. And when he left, he got up and he said good afternoon to us and goodbye in English, just because it was a nice thing to do. And it's just an example of their extraordinary manners and kindness. And it was interesting to us because both of us were sort of like, oh, that was so nice. And then I said, can you imagine that happening in Australia? Like if we were in a sauna and there was a Chinese person, would anybody, knowing they were Chinese, would you say good afternoon to them in Chinese? Would you say ni hao? You wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. It just wouldn't happen. And yet here, it's just they have beautiful manners. But I think that all comes from they've been raised in such a beautiful way, but also they are very, very proud. And because we spoke in Spanish first, he just was nice and polite in return. Whereas if you were sitting in the sauna speaking at the top of your voice in English, it might not be the same. So it's just an example of their beautiful manners. Right, that's it. How many have I got? Wanji, Menchi, Lucia, Luis, Mel, Dave. Perfect. Right, look at those. Do you want one to try? You hold off. Okay. All right. I might make a few more seeing as I have the ingredients. But I'll let you go because there's only so much talking head one can listen to in a YouTube video. Hope you learned something new. Hope you enjoyed our kitchen. Oh, wow. They look amazing. So Davey's doing some eggplant. I don't know what he's doing with those. I hope that maybe we're putting sardines on them later on. That would be delicious. Have a lovely weekend. Thank you again for joining me. Thank you for supporting the channel, and I hope to see you in the next video. Adios!